Hello everyone, I am Samuel Ryman and this is how I won the 2013 Indy 500. 8 split, but still counts as a win. It was my first ever Indy 500. As a matter of fact, it was my first ever time in an IndyCar, well, racing an IndyCar, and my first ever time racing at Indianapolis. Now this driver here, starting on the pole, Mihai Messerson, he's the driver who sent me this video, so thank you very much, Mihai. We'll see plenty more of him later in the race. So I've been told that, you know, being your first ever Indy 500, don't go out there to win it. Go out there to have fun. Ride around, you know, learn what you can do, what you can't do. Keep your car in one piece. Pass cars that are faster than you. Make it to the end and see where you end up. So I started 14th place, which I don't like because when I'm new to a car, I like to build a bit of understeer in it so that I don't spin out straight away. Well, of course, the problem with understeer at the Indianapolis 500 is if you get out in the outside line, you're in for a long day. So you'll see here, I quickly fall back from my starting position in 14th, down to 22nd within just a few moments. So here we go, 8th split, 2013 Indy 500 is underway. We completed 10.5 laps before the first caution came out, which isn't bad considering that it was the 8th split of the Indy 500 that was going on. And I decided to pit under the caution so I could restart at the back and be out of trouble. However, I soon learned that the back of the pack was where all the trouble was. So now, unfortunately, we're about 10 laps into the future because caution kept coming out after caution after caution, and we're down to about 29 or so cars left on the lead lap right now. I'm handing out about 20th place here. As you can see, a couple of cars actually get disqualified for jumping the restart here. And I'm slowly beginning to figure out, hey, I am actually faster than some of these guys starting dead last or towards the back of the pack. And by the time this green flag run here comes to an end on about lap 38, I'm about midfield, about 14th, 15th place. So here I am restarting in 15th place on lap 39. Now, I don't know a whole lot about the IndyCar, but something I've learned so far this race, the brake pedal works really good. Okay, so here's my reasoning so far, and hopefully you can follow me. When I start at the back of a pack on the restarts, I almost wreck. When I start at the middle of a pack on the restarts, I almost wreck. So if I start at the front of a pack on the restarts, I shouldn't wreck. Now, I admit, I'm cautious. I was a bit of a pansy. Didn't really know what's going on. But I knew I was starting up 7th, so I was going to go on the restart. Please do not be like a guy in front of me who restarted 5th. I mean, I know I could pass him on the outside, but I really didn't want to risk going too wide into turn 1. And you can see he just doesn't go on the restart. But I'm sorry, if you're restarting 5th, if you really want to be as cautious as he was on the restart here, and you'll see how slow he goes through turn 1, perhaps you shouldn't be up front. Now, I'll put it in his defence here, I won't entirely blame this caution that's about to happen on him. By the way, I'll say, this is a crucial caution, because as you just see, he was coming out of pit road. A lot of cars have been making pit stops, and when this caution comes out, we're only left with about 12 cars on the lead lap. I've been running in about 9th, 10th place. Before this caution came out, the driver who just ran into him was one of the leaders, gained a spot on pit road, so I restart 7th when we go back under green on lap 72. But here I am in 7th again after picking off a couple of spots from drivers that had pitted too early and drivers that were involved in that latest caution. And I get up into 6th place, almost 5th here on the restart. But honestly, I kind of give that up because this is a lot higher than I expected at this point in the race. We're not even halfway yet, and I'm in 6th place. So as pit stops were cycling through, I have been catching up with this guy by the name of Dimitri in the blue car in front of me. We would have been running about 4th or 5th by the time our pit cycle came through here. This is lap 106 we're coming up to. However, we get a couple of spots because as you're about to see, the two leaders in front of us collide into each other coming down into the pits. And so essentially our battle for position is now 4th and 5th when we come back out on the track after the restart. Well, there wasn't even a caution. After the pit stop, rather, is what I should have said. So eventually I'm able to run Dimitri down and I end up passing him within a couple of turns here. He was faster than me, but he kept making mistakes every now and then. Like you see him sliding up the track here. So eventually I go by him and get 4th, but I do give that position back up as these Indy cars have your lap times on your dashboard, and as a pair we were actually going slower with me in front. Now fortunately for us, 2 other drivers, not this one, but the other 2 drivers who get caught up in the wreck, you'll see that in a second, were 2 drivers that were on the lead lap. Now although this white, green and red car is pretty much done, the green car, Mihai Messerson, the driver who sat on pole and gave me this video, only has minor damage, so he falls behind us for a little bit, and we'll see more of him. Lap 132, and I'm into the pits, as are a lot of other cars, because although we get a penalty, our penalty is tail end of the longest line at the restart, so many other cars tried the strategy that really it's not much of a penalty. Some cars take a wave around, and we end up with 6 cars left on the lead lap, me being the 3rd one of them when we get restarted here on lap 132, which is enough if you can stretch it to make it to the end on one more stop. This was really the scariest moment I had in the race, but I got through it, and really the biggest thing here is that all the cars that got their wave around obviously now get to go back on the lead lap, so we had 6 cars on the lead lap. Now I decided to stay out on this caution because I'm like, I've got to pit one more time anyways, and also it puts me up into 2nd place, right by Mihai Messerson, funnily enough. But still, I told you earlier I was nervous about being in 6th, so you can imagine how I feel about being in 2nd. You'll see with me being cautious and me having a car that understeers, I get stuck up in the high line here and I just get too conservative, and eventually I fall all the way back down to the back of the pack and I'm in 6th of the 6 cars still left on the lead lap. But honestly, 6th place, lead lap, that's not a bad position to be in. So you see, Dimitri's just slid up high, and so I thought, you know, maybe, yes, we are faster with him in front, but he's sliding up, maybe I better try passing him. So I go up into 5th position, and watch our rear tail lights. 5th place, caution comes out. So I'm in 5th place out of 6 cars left on the lead lap. The top 2 are Mihai Messerson and the guy by the name of Victor. 3rd and 4th are this guy and that guy. Not anymore. Alright, so at the restart here, I'm in front now, but that's because I'm going to pit with 1 to go and top off my fuel, go to the tail end of the longest line. We're just outside our fuel window to be able to make it to the end, and the other 3 drivers on the lead lap have pit, but they still need to... Oh, by the way, Samuel, go down pit road. They still need to save fuel or... Samuel, pit. Oh, why didn't I pit? I can't really remember, but we've all got to save fuel or make it to the end on one more stop anyways. And I'm leading. I'm leading the Indy 500. I actually said that over the radio. I was pretty excited, even though it was under caution. I felt like Danica Patrick. With 27 laps to go, definitely inside my fuel window, I come into the pits, giving Mihai Messerson the lead and Victor is in 2nd. Eventually they pair up and begin drafting together at about half a regular pace, and I go a lap down. But 1 lap is only 40 seconds, and with about 20 laps left to go, here I come up on the leaders to get back onto the lead lap, because they're only going half throttle trying to save gas. And, you know, it's a losing battle if they try to hold me up, so on the back stretch here I get by on the low line. And now it's a matter of, can I run them down 40 seconds while they're trying to save fuel? With about 9 laps left to go, they finally begin picking it up because I am only 12 seconds behind in 3rd place right now. Now the other guy who pitted to try and make it to the end, Dimitri, he pitted too early, so he actually tried saving fuel. He ends up finishing about a lap down, I think. Okay, so let me just tell you now, I did not expect this. I did not expect a chance at a podium when I started the Indy 500. And I said over the radio, I would be thrilled with the third place finish, but the first is even better. 2 laps left to go. Evidently they still have fuel in their cars. I am watching my F3 screen like a hawk. When will they run out of gas? That is my question. They've been switching around like this all day. I'm far behind, and all of a sudden I see on F3 they're beginning to slow down. They must be out of fuel, I think. Well, no, obviously you can see right here that is not the case at all. I come out of turn 2 here. I see on the backstretch the 2 leaders, I reckon. There is no caution. I am about 3 to 4 miles away from winning the Indy 500. I lost audio here, so this might sound a little different. Came out of turn 4 and I could see turn 1 and I knew that the yard of bricks was in between somewhere, and I'm like, am I actually allowed to do this? And sure enough, I did it and then did a few burnouts to celebrate. So that's how I won my Indy 500.